Okay, so we'll watch this speech, and there's part of it that is absolute insanity. He basically accused the, like, let me actually just show that part. Do we want to watch the entire thing? I don't want to watch the entire thing. Guys, let me know. Do you want to watch the entire thing or just the part where he just blames the Jews for killing Charlie Kirk? Yeah, I don't think he's worth watching the entire, like, we'll see. Let's just actually just get straight to the point. Let me, guys, who's in the chat? Angry Keyboard Warrior is here, Nail Bunny is here, Flying Robot Duck is here, Roya is here, Jack is here, and yeah, okay, that's good. I can't pronounce your name. Delta Biz is here. All right, good, good. Some of you I can. Jeffrey is here. All right. Some of you I can't pronounce your names. Anyways, let make sure you like the stream, and let's just get right into it.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea. Why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted.
Did you guys notice what he just did there? First of all, why is he invited to Charlie Kirk's memorial, and why is he even speaking? This man's views cannot be any more anti what Charlie Kirk stood for. He's spreading anti-Semitism on Charlie Kirk's memorial. What the fuck is he doing here? Why is he speaking? Let's go. Did you guys notice how fucking insane what he said was? Do you like? Do I need to spell it out for you guys? Let's just watch it again.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite.
So he's saying he was a Christian evangelist, and he's putting Charlie in the position of Jesus, and he's saying that just like the Jews, and he doesn't leave any room for doubt. He wants to say just like the Jews killed Jesus, the Jews killed Charlie. And it's interesting because he says this is actually my favorite story. The idea that the Jews killed Jesus is his favorite story. Okay, so watch this. Again, YouTube, we're not spreading hate against the Jews. I'm just calling out this motherfucker. I'm just calling out this anti-Semite. So YouTube, don't think this is our views here.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem.
Yeah, why would that, Nail Bunny is asking in the chat, why would that be your favorite story ever? The idea of Jesus being killed for what he said.
Reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do?
Did you see what he just did there? He wanted to make sure that the other anti-Jewish haters, they don't miss what's happening here. Why would he, like, the fact that he's like, oh, it's a bunch of guys eating hummus? You guys, like, I hope you guys notice what he's doing here. He added the hummus on purpose in there. He just wanted to remind people that the Jews killed Jesus and the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. Motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? By the way, let me see. Ezra is saying Charlie wouldn't have wanted him silenced. That was his point. Tucker sounds whacked out. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't get silenced if he wasn't invited here. He's one of the loudest men alive. He has a giant platform. Like, not inviting him to this memorial wouldn't silence him. Like, yeah, so I don't think that would silence him. But yeah, he is an asshole. Graham saying anything Candace and Tucker don't blame on the Jews. That's a good. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know actually.
About this guy telling the truth about us. We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea. Why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
Explain this laughter to me. Explain this laughter to me. This is this is psychotic. Like, I'm actually scared of this guy. I think this guy what the like, can you explain what was funny and why did he pause and then laugh like that? Was he laughing at the story or the fact that he just managed to blame Charlie Kirk's murder on the Jews in front of all of these people? Is he impressed with himself that he's managing to send to basically say such a lie in front of such a large audience? I don't understand the laughter. This is giving me crazy vibes. Watch the laughter again. It comes at the most odd point.
Guys sitting around eating hummus thinking about what do we
Mm.
do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking.
You're talking about killing Jesus, and then all of a sudden you laugh like that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea. Why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted.
That is such a weird. That was so weird. I'm freaked out with. I'm really freaked out by this man. Oh, we got another super chat. Angry Keyboard Warrior saying Tucker's laughter here reminds me of right after 710 when pro-Palestinian on campus were smiling and laughing while posting flyers saying stop the genocide and resistance is justified. Oh my god, that's fucking insane. That's absolutely insane. Sorry that you had to experience that. Shit, man. So we can't wish the full speech. Let me see actually what the caption here says. This guy is saying Drew here. Drew is here. Tucker Carlson decided to try hint at Charlie Kirk's memorial that Charlie Kirk was killed by Hamas eaters in Jerusalem, the same people who killed Christ in his words. I mean, guys, we know what this is. Like, the people who killed Christ and then Hamas eaters in Jerusalem. We all, like, I hope there is no denying what he's doing here. Anybody here is doubting this? This person posted Qatar. How do you say Carl's? How do you put Qatar in his name? I don't know. So Tucker Carlson basically blames the Jews for killing Jesus during Charlie Kirk's memorial, equating it to Charlie's murder, saying, I can picture the scene, a bunch of guys eating hummus, thinking, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? About us. Crazy. Let me see. There are more people. By the way, I was happy to see so many right leaning people calling this out. I also noticed that the same accounts that were anti Semitic were agree, like they were agreeing what this actually is. So Corey Walker here saying anti-Semitism pretending anti-Semitism penetrating the deepest reaches of both the parties is depressing. We aren't seeing the consequences yet, but they will be obvious soon. Once the boomers die off, the US will be more like Europe, Canada, and Australia when it comes to open anti-Semitism. Well, that's not good. I retweeted this guy already. Do you guys want to watch his full speech to see, make sure we didn't take it out of context? Because it's only 6 minutes. So let's watch the whole thing.
Oh, that made me emotional. Made me emotional to see that. Susie Wiles had tears in her eyes, which you don't often see in politics, but it's real. This is the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever seen. And I don't. Whatever happens next in America, I hope it's in this direction, because God is here and you can feel it. And Charlie would have loved this, not just because he loved large groups of people, but because ultimately he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted, and the Beatitudes tell it, I think, the most crisply. Everything is sort of the opposite of what you think it's going to be. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. That is true, and you can feel it here. The thing about Charlie's message, I've thought a lot about it, and I'm trying not to be emotional because in addition to everything else, he was a wonderful man and a decent man, and one of those rare people you meet who you just groove with in conversation and have these very intense conversations that you don't stop thinking about, which is my experience with him. But the main thing about Charlie and his message, he was bringing the gospel to the country. He was doing the thing that the people in charge hate most, which is calling for them to repent. So how is Charlie's message different? And Charlie was a political person who was deeply interested in coalition building and in getting the right people in office, because he knew that vast improvements are possible politically. But he also knew that politics is not the final answer. It can't answer the deepest questions, actually. That the only real solution is Jesus. And the reason, it's really simple. Politics, at its core, is a process of critiquing other people and
If the only solution is Jesus, I also think that this is a kind of a hint that we cannot trust the Jews because they don't have this. They don't have Jesus, right? Him and Candace are basically are becoming Christian tribalists in a way that is basically Christians and everyone else is against us, including the Jews. And if it's not just about politics, it's about who has Jesus. And the Jews don't have Jesus, according to him and Candace. So basically they're on the evil side.
getting them to change. Christianity, the gospel message, the message of Jesus, begins with repentance. Christianity calls upon you to change. Our core prayer given to us by Jesus, the Lord's Prayer, demands that we forgive other people, but preceding that is a request for our forgiveness. In other words, forgive us our sins, meditate on what we've done wrong, how we've fallen short, and then it becomes possible to forgive other people. That is a call to change our hearts from Jesus, and that is the only way forward in this country. That is the only solution to where we are.
It's the only solution. The only way to get better is through Jesus. Basically, I think, guys, am I reading too much into this? I also think he's continuing to say, don't rely on the Jews. Don't be friends with the
All
Jews.
know we're going. And Charlie knew where we were going without that. And that is not a call for being politically passive. Of course not. I stood on many stages with Charlie calling for various people to be elected, particularly Donald Trump. And I'm proud of that. It's only an acknowledgement that what Charlie was really saying is that change begins, the only change that matters, when we repent of our sins. We, me. A recognition that the real problem is me and how fallen I am. And that was the reason that Charlie was fearless at all times, truly fearless to his last moment. He was unafraid, he was not defensive, and there was no hate in his heart. I know that because I've got a little hate compartment in my heart, and I would often express that to Charlie about various people, and he would always say, that's a sad person, that's a broken.
Everybody is now best friends of Charlie after his death. Like, oh, he was my best friend. No, he was my best friend.
He was unafraid, he was not defensive, and there was no hate in his heart. I know that because I've got a little hate compartment in my heart, and I would often express that to Charlie about various people, and he would.
Oh, we just like I don't know who talked to Charlie more. I think it is the way it seems like it was just Charlie was basically on a daily basis talking to Candace and Tucker. It seems like he was best friends with these two people. These were the main two people that he constantly talked to. Apparently,
always say, that's a sad person. That's a broken person. That's a person who needs help. That's a person who needs Jesus. He said that in private because he meant it.
He said that in private because he meant it.
So I guess I would just say this gathering and God,
if you mean it, you'll say it in public.
God's presence, God's very obvious presence in this room, the presence of Jesus is a reminder
to not to trust the Jews because they don't have Jesus.
Of what we've known.
Again, YouTube. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. This is these people's beliefs. I'm actually exposing them. Okay, that was them
for 2,000 years, which is any attempt to extinguish the light causes it to burn brighter every single time. So as we proceed into whatever comes next, and clearly something's coming next, remember this moment. Remember being in a room with the Holy Spirit humming like a tuning fork. Jesus. This is the way. Right here. This is the way. And that is what Charlie Kirk was saying underneath it all. Thank you, and God bless.
All right. Let's actually see if the dog whistle was loud enough for the people who had to hear it. So this guy, Yair. Oh, by the way, we got a super chat. Hold on. Oh, Gene is saying Shahna Tova. Did I say it right? Happy Jewish New Year! Yes, of course. How could I forget? Guys, Israelis in the chat or other Jewish people, anybody who's celebrating, Happy New Year! That's fantastic. Oh, I should have started with that. Thank you, Gene. Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate that super chat. Oh, guys, we've got 2 super chats so far. Thank you. Did I pronounce it right? I think I pronounced it right. But let's look at this. So, okay, so this guy is showing us that meanwhile, the target audience, meaning the anti Semites, figured out the obvious intent that others will still deny. So, this guy is saying, we all know who Tucker was referring to here. And then there was this guy. These are basically anti Semitic accounts, right? These are racist. So, this one is saying, look at this. Talmud worshippers like to eat babies' penises. Again, YouTube, I'm not saying this. I'm just showing these, demonstrating the, anti-Semitic people here. And then this person saying, rap music makes so much more sense once you've read the Talmud. Okay. And saying, I rebuke all Talmud worshippers in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, repent. I think we watched that to see this is the type of person she is, and this is what she is saying here. We all know who Tucker was referring to here. And then this one, okay, Joel, I don't know how to pronounce this right. This guy said, "God bless Tucker." So this Jeremy guy posted, the Tucker. This guy is famous, but this Jeremy's posted, did Tucker Carlson just accuse Jews of killing Jesus during his speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial? And this person quote tweeted that, saying, "God bless Tucker." And then we have, hold on, this guy Ellie here saying in this clip of Holocaust denier Elijah, I don't know how to pronounce that, show with Pastor Joel Webben, okay, who states that anti-Semitism is related to Jewish behavior, and that there's something to be said for, yeah, okay, so this is basically showing that this guy is an anti-Semite, and that's what he's saying. Oh wait, I don't know what this is. Government doesn't act. I think that's he posts multiple pictures. I don't know how that's relevant here. But anyways, Jane was posting, this is the kind of thing a bunch of people are going to try to pretend didn't mean what it obviously referenced, referring to Tucker Carlson's anti-Semitic speech here. This person is saying, at the memorial of Charlie Kirk, Erika gave an eloquent eulogy for the man she loved and even forgave the man who assassinated her husband. In contrast, Tucker Carlson couldn't even get through his speech without a maniacal did I read, laughter at and blaming the Jews. Guys, I don't know if I agree with Erika Kirk for forgiving the man who assassinated her husband. I mean, I know. What do you? We have Christians here. I always think that is kind of crazy. Let me make it make sense for me. Christians in the chat. Do you like?
Ultimately,
So you, Erika Kirk, forgave the man that shot her husband. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, I don't think. I don't think anybody who. I don't think you don't deserve forgiveness. Not unless at least you regret what you did. Shouldn't that be a condition for forgiveness? For you to at least ask for an apology and regret what you have done? I don't know if I, as an my atheist, you Christians, you were gonna say like, Armin, of course you don't understand. You're not a Christian. This is only a Christian heart would understand this, not a black atheist heart like yours. Which fair, that's fair. Okay. But make it make sense. Can you make it make sense? Like, no, Armin, you will never understand this unless you accept Jesus first, right? So maybe there's no hope for me to understand. But right now, with an atheist mindset, I have no idea how that makes sense. How does that make sense when you forgive her? Let me see if I could find the video of Erica forgiving. Oh, here is this it? I think I found Erika Kirk forgiving the shooter. Do you guys agree with her like with forgiving? Does that make sense to you guys? I don't think he deserves forgiveness. So let's watch this.
That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Guys, am I a heartless person to think that he doesn't deserve forgiveness?
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Oh, somebody in the chat said I'm Christian here and I agree with you. Okay, well thank you. Okay, so even a Christian is agreeing with me.
And is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, my black atheist heart cannot love somebody like that. Okay, and I cannot love. I can try to hate less. I can try to hate them less, but loving is too much of an ask. So a guy like that, you like Christians in the chat. Do you actually love that guy that killed Charlie Kirk? Like, can you tell me? Like, do you actually love him? Because you're commanded to love him. I don't get it. I'm just like I'm a heartless atheist motherfucker that doesn't. I get it. Shauna is saying, oh hey, Shauna Tova, and happy first day of autumn. Well, thank you. Thank you to all the Jews who are celebrating and everybody else who's celebrating. I don't know, maybe non-Jews are celebrating too. I'm assuming if you're in Israel, even if you're not a Jew, you're celebrating, right? So happy Shana Tova to everybody who's celebrating. And then Patrick is saying forgiveness is given, not earned. Yeah, but you could decide not to give it, right? And I decide not to give it. If somebody killed my loved one, I will not forgive them, and I would not feel bad about not forgiving them. But let me know. But we have gone beyond forgiving. We have gone to loving. Do you guys love, like Christians in the chat? Do you guys love that man? Because if you're not loving, you're failing Jesus. We forgive him, and I'm trying to learn from you guys. And through forgiveness, we show love. But do you love him? We show like, do you love your enemies? I think we should be more selective with our love. I know this is not a very this is basically goes against what Christianity teaches. I think if you just give love to everybody, then it's not that special, right? I think we need to be very selective with our love. But maybe I am just evil. Maybe I'm just a heartless, evil atheist. I don't know. Yeah. Josh is here. Josh is saying, well, hold on. Carlson, I can picture the scene. Yeah, everybody is basically highlighting this crazy part of Tucker Carlson. I think he should be called out by more people who were there. Joel is calling this out as well, saying at the memorial for Charlie Kirk, Erika gave an eloquent. Oh, I already read that one. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. Ordo Amoris, we got a super chat. Should I look this up? Is Ordo Amoris. By the way, while I look that up, let's look at what Representative, not Republican, Ilhan Omar said about Charlie Kirk. You guys want to get disgusted with me? If I get disgusted, you need to get disgusted with me. How about that? This is the deal that we have in this channel. Okay, so let's watch her.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the.
Oh wait, I got it. So Ordo Amoris is the order of love. Oh, it's from Saint Augustine. Okay, so that's what it is. So we got a chat saying Ordo Morris, so the order of love. Yeah, basically loving your enemies and all that. Yep, which doesn't resonate with my atheist mind. But if you Christians in the chat get it, then you are above our level. Okay, so we don't get it. We Jews and atheists do not understand you here in the chat.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously, this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father. And in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people. That people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath.
What I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have.
Wait, so she doesn't find the attacks on Tucker Carlson after his death. She doesn't find that reprehensible. Wow.
What I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse.
Look at that. So she says, by saying what I find jarring, that means that she doesn't find the other one
he was
jarring.
sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath.
What I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
Yeah, what needs to go into the dustbin of history is you and your entire religion and your fucking prophet, you motherfucker. Imagine thinking that what Charlie Kirk stood for should go into the dustbin of history, while supporting a prophet that raped children. Yeah. Let me see what Gadsat said here. Gadsat saying, have you ever seen Ilhan Omar say something that was an indication of her love of America and its freedoms? Every word out of her filthy mouth is divisive, hateful, nasty, and oozing of ingratitude. She is a human pig. Hey, no, I that was okay until you called her a pig. That is not okay. Pigs are beautiful animals. They're wonderful creatures. They're very cute and they're very smart. And please do not insult pigs on this channel. Okay? No pig phobia on my channel. I do not condone this. Why is pig an insult? I don't understand. Pigs are wonderful. Have you guys ever had a pig as a pet? They're so cute. They're adorable.
See, this man has left behind. That should.
Wait, hold on. Well, we got 3 super chats. Hold on, let's see. Delta is saying many people there agreed with Tucker. Really, Delta? That is insane. I think that many people there might have not understood what he was saying, because it was maybe this is the type of stuff that gets picked up on the internet after, and right there in the moment. I don't think people realize that he's accusing the Jews of killing Charlie. I'm not sure if they understood it or not. I don't think there's a way to measure that. I can tell you that many conservatives online called it out and they were against Charlie. So Amir gave us a super chat saying Jumhuriya Islami Zindabad, which means long live the Islamic Republic, which is quite funny because this guy is supporting the Islamic Republic, but he's funding a channel that is anti the Islamic Republic. This is why the Islamic Republic, this is the level of intelligence that the supporters of the Islamic Republic have. He's giving money to the channel that is fighting against his regime, the regime that he likes. Okay, guys, this is seriously the intelligence levels of regime supporters in Iran. And also, look at this. He gave us a second super chat. So he's funding an anti-Islam channel, an anti-Islamic Republic channel. So he gave us two super chats. So you're actually funding, Amir, you're funding the fight against Islam and the Islamic Republic. That's how intelligent you are, okay? And he here is saying, Hafish Kuni. So he's calling me gay. He's saying, shut up, you gay man, which is, I'm really glad that he did that. And by the way, he's in Canada. This is an Iranian in Canada who is supporting the Islamic Republic. And he's saying, here's money. I don't know. Maybe he's a joke. I can't believe. I think he's a. Is this a? I think it's a satire. Is he satire? Because nobody can be this stupid. I think he's joking. Is he joking? Nobody's that stupid. Is he? Is he just a troll? Oh, he's saying I'm not joking. I mean, it is the same level of intelligence as people who support the regime, so it doesn't matter, even if you're a troll or not. But he's showing that he's homophobic, which is good to show that the pro-regime people are homophobic. And he's saying, here's some money for your broke ass. Well, you just funded an anti-Islamic channel, so you're going to burn in hell for that. Okay. You have to answer to God in hell for supporting an anti-Islamic channel. Yeah, it's post laws, guys. We don't know if stupid is if they're trolls or stupid. It doesn't make much of a difference. They're effectively the same thing. And he's saying free Palestine without using super chat. Is there are and saying you're atheist, bro. Okay, I think he's actually stupid. It's not a troll. It's possible. It's possible either way. All right, so I have some bad news for you guys. I think you all know what happened. This from Canada, but I also give you some good news. So Mark Carney, my prime minister, basically recognized the state of Palestine today, which is of absolute insanity. So did the UK. They both did it at the same time. So let's see. Cheryl is saying, so Canada have now formally recognized Palestine, as have Australia, the UK are doing so imminently. Well, the UK just did it at the same time as Canada. And at the end, it will be for nothing but appeasement. And we will formally take over. Oh, yeah. And we will formally take over Samaria and Judah and end this discussion once and for all. This is the proper response. This is what you need to do. Okay, just take over the whole area so that we could end this discussion. No more free Palestine nonsense. By the way, there will be no such thing as a Palestinian country. There will never be such a thing. We shouldn't let that happen. However, what this does, so don't think like this is not a setback that the UK and Canada did this, because what it does, it motivates, basically, it's a victory for Hamas. Basically, the UK and Canada just gave a gift to Hamas. So their argument for why they're recognizing Palestinian state is that they are trying to find a way for peace. But please let me know if you understand how this is actually going to cause more war. Do you guys understand why recognizing the Palestinian state by Canada and the UK is actually going to cause the so-called Palestinian people a lot of harm? Do you guys understand this logic? Let me know if you understand, or do you need me to, let me know if I need to explain. Why, if you care about the people in Gaza, the last thing you should be doing is to come out and say that we recognize the state of Palestine. So Jerusalem is saying, I don't understand. Okay, let me tell you. Let me explain. Amir Amir is actually adding a lot to the conversation by saying this guy sounds gay. That's a huge contribution to the argument that we're having here, Amir. Thank you so much for your input, guys. He's saying I sound gay. I think we're all wiser for that input, right? That's we all learned something here today. Right. All right. So here's the reason. So as you can see on the screen, Hamas declares victory after UK recognition of Palestine. So the thing is that Hamas is losing a lot, and Hamas needs to be able to signal a win right now to be able to continue recruiting, funding, mobilizing. And Hamas does not have any wins, but we just gave Hamas a win. Hamas is desperate for anything that could demonstrate. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. This is very important. Hamas is absolutely desperate for anything that could show to the axis of resistance globally that October 7th was not a mistake, that it was not for nothing, that it was not a loss, and that the axis of resistance gained something from it. So it's that, and that would make Hamas a central part of the axis of resistance. And if you believe in the axis of resistance, you need to understand that Hamas is an essential part of it that requires to continual support. They didn't have that, and now they do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hamas now will take this and show, see, this would have never happened if we didn't do October 7th. This would have been unimaginable. Because we did that, now we have two major countries, the UK and Canada, coming here and saying that we recognize Palestinian state. This is what we did. This is the gift that we gave to the movement. Do you understand what a big exactly when they needed it the most? You just gave them the biggest victory for them to be able to use as a way to show the rest of the axis of resistance that supporting them continues to make sense. That if you doubted the results of their actions before, now you could see the fruits of their labor. They're saying this themselves. Hamas itself declared victory after UK's recognition of Palestine. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? This is a huge support for more violence by Canada and the UK. They're rewarding terrorists. They're showing that if you're violent enough, you will get your way eventually. Jackie is saying no. What? You don't understand what I'm saying? I think I explained it very well. So Jackie is saying, are you saying that this is in the long run good for bad for Israel? Guys, even if you believe in the two-state solution, which I don't, this was not the time. What I'm saying that even if you think the two-state solution is the way to go, this was the most horrible time and way to do it. Right now, basically showing to the world that Hamas's methods work, showing Hamas that their methods work. Jared in the chat is saying you're wrong. Well, I'm so glad that you said that because I'm convinced I'm wrong. I mean, you provided no arguments, no evidence, nothing, but you just wrote you're wrong, and that's exactly what I needed to hear, and that was good enough. Nothing else you need to say. I'm completely convinced by you. I will change my opinion right now. Very good reasoning skills, by the way. So Jewish Samantha is making a good point, saying, but Hamas doesn't want a state. They want Israel not to have a state. True, but they see Samantha, that's a very good point, George Samantha. And it's important to understand that Hamas at this moment sees the recognition of the Palestinian state, something that they do not want, as a way to show that they're one step closer, that this is a retreat by the enemy, that this is turning the world against Israel. Because even if they don't want a Palestinian state next to Israel, they want to just get the entire area to be Palestine, right? UK and Canada recognizing the state will be seen as them turning the world against Israel. So for them, it's a step in between for their eventual goal. But that was a very good point that you brought up, Jewish Samantha. Yeah, but I do agree. They want the whole thing. Actually, a lot of people, like you guys say, from the river to the sea. Honestly, they don't want from the river to the sea. They want everything. Please understand that a lot of people say that Hamas doesn't want just the area that we call Gaza and the West Bank. They want all of Israel. That's actually not true. They don't want all of Israel. They want all of the world. And I'm not exaggerating. And I'm not exaggerating. Oh, somebody's saying the flag behind you says everything who you are. Yes, and I'm proud of it. It says I'm Iranian. And I'm proud of my country. And I'm a patriot. And you could fuck off if you don't like it. Yes, nice flag. Well, thank you. Well, let me actually show you how the Prime Minister of Canada hold on here has been lying to us. Oh, by the way, before I go to the Prime Minister of Canada, let's look at how Netanyahu responds to the Palestinian state. Let's see what he says, okay? You guys want to hear him?
יש לי מסר ברור לאותם מנהיגים שמכירים במדינה פלסטינית לאחר הטבח הנורא
Okay, so this is in Hebrew. Let me just read it. Saying, I got a message to the same leaders who recognize the Palestinian state after October 7th horrifying massacre. You reward terrorism. And I got another message. There will not be a Palestinian state. Okay, I know a lot of you Israelis in the chat do not agree with Netanyahu on different things, but on this I'm completely in agreement with him. What happened is that they rewarded terrorism. They showed to terrorists worldwide that terrorism can work, that October 7th worked, and he also provided the only correct response to it, that Israel will not let it work. Israel will not let it work. Israel will not let you get what you want if October 7th is the way that you try to achieve it. Let's actually listen to the Hebrew version. It's only 1 minute.
יש לי מסר ברור לאותם מנהיגים שמכירים במדינה פלסטינית לאחר הטבח הנורא ב7 באוקטובר. אתם מעניקים פרס עצום לטרור. ויש לי מסר נוסף עבורכם. זה לא יהיה. לא תקום מדינה פלסטינית ממערב לירדן. במשך שנים אני מנעתי את הקמתה של מדינת טרור זו מול לחצים אדירים, גם מבית וגם מן החוץ. עשינו זאת בנחישות ועשינו זאת בתבונה מדינית. לא כל שכן, הכפלנו את ההתיישבות היהודית ביהודה ושומרון ונמשיך בדרך זו. המענה לניסיון האחרון לכפות עלינו מדינת טרור בלב ארצנו, המענה הזה יינתן לאחר שובי מארצות הברית. תמתין.
Okay, hold on. Let's go to this one. So Keir Starmer has made a serious mistake in recognizing Palestine. That's a good picture here. I like this one. British traitor. That's a good picture. And then we got this. So look at this. So Carney actually lied to us. let's look at what he said here. This was back in August 1st, and he had some conditions for recognizing the Palestinian state. Look at those. What the conditions were. Let's listen to
For the
this.
reasons I cited earlier, Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025. This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reforms, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026 in which Hamas can play no part, and to demilitarize the Palestinian state. Canada will increase its efforts in supporting strong democratic governance in Palestine and the contributions of its people to a more peaceful and hopeful future. I spoke today with President Abbas at length to reaffirm his commitments. Canada reiterates that Hamas must immediately release all hostages taken in the horrific terrorist attack of October 7th, that Hamas must disarm, and that Hamas must play no role in the future governance of Palestine. Canada will always steadfastly support Israel's existence as an independent state in the Middle East, living in peace and security. Any path to lasting peace for Israel also requires a viable and stable Palestinian state, and one that recognizes Israel's inalienable right to security and peace.
Okay, so basically, he said the recognition of Palestinian state would depend on Hamas releasing all the hostages, Hamas being disarmed, and Hamas playing zero role in governance. So none of these has happened so far, and they already recognize Palestine anyways, which is what the fuck. So here, this guy's saying, on August 1st, Carney told Canadians the only way his government would recognize Palestine as a state is only if Hamas release all of the hostages. They must disarm, and they must not play any role in the future governance of Palestine. None of those requirements have been met, and today Carney just announced his recognition of Palestine as a state. He lied once again. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're telling terrorists that you could do October 7th and you don't even have to meet any of the conditions, and we'll just do the thing that we need to do right now at the moment that you need it the most to give you more credibility. This is the best market. This is, by the way, this is the best marketing campaign for Hamas ever. Like Hamas they should basically be showing this to everyone. Like, good, look what we did. Look what we did. The leaders of two of the most powerful countries, like two of the main biggest economic countries in the world, UK and Canada, just bend the knee because of October 7th. This is how much we could say. Like, look, with the small amount of support that we got you two countries. Just give us, 10 times more now, and we're gonna get you more countries. Right? And then, guys, you guys know, wink, wink. We don't want just Palestinian state next to Israel. Obviously, that's not what we want. But let's get there first, and then we'll talk later. We'll talk about what we can get later. That's what's happening here. We got another super chat. Render unto Caesar saying sup, 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 render, sup back to you, and thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Oh, guys, we have like 9 out of 10 super chats. That's pretty crazy. We got very close, and we have the most proper response to Palestinian statehood comes from where? Guys, answer me. I want to see if you guys understand what I'm about to say. The best response to Palestinian statehood, to Palestine be recognized as its own independent nation state, comes from anybody? Oh, yeah. I mean, the Iranians in the chat know what I'm saying. They're already answering it. So let's watch this. Here. Comes from Iran. This is the Iranian response. No, not the UN. Iran. It comes from Iran. Here's the Iranian response to this. So you guys know Niak. He posted this is saying, "Hey, Mr. Keir Starmer, that's for you and state of Palestine." And the Iranian people are shouting, "Shove the Palestinian flag up your ass." And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but ever since this chant has become viral in Iran, like in Iran in stadiums, people keep chanting this. They keep saying, "Shove the Palestinian flag up your ass," and now it has gone global because the people in the UK are now copying the Iranian people and saying, and now look at this. This is the people in the UK copying the Iranian people. Stick your Palestine up your hole. Stick your Palestine up your hole. Okay, it rhymes better in Persian, but we can't complain. Okay. So I'm so glad that we are, you know, this is multiculturalism done right. Okay, this is multiculturalism done right. This is Iranian culture coming to the UK. This this is the type of multiculturalism that I could support. This is proper anti-Palestinian Iranian culture making its way into the UK. And this is the message that Keir Starmer needs to get from his people. Guys, by the way, we managed to reach 10 super chats. So I need to now spend some time with you guys. Hold on. Let's actually read the super chats. We could put this on here. Let's go to this here and then let's look at the super chat, see what you guys are saying. All right. So Nailbun is saying, have they shown Palestine on a map yet? Well, they can't because it doesn't exist. But good point. And also Nailbun is saying, now they have a state. They're not refugees anymore. Okay. Yes. They were never refugees. But yeah. Okay, and thank you, Neil Bunny, for the super chat and also being a member for 18 months. All right. Somebody saying God will judge. Zion is saying God will judge. Judge what? Okay. Somebody saying I'm Palestine Chai. Hey, go get your own chance. I'm Palestine Chai. That's a new one, and he's putting a Palestinian flag in there. I mean, for Palestine to live, Palestine first has to exist for it to be able to continue living. Free mortar, free samples. You guys know why I'm against the two-state solution, right? Let me explain it to the people who might be new here. A two-state solution is basically the best way to use international laws to provide a safe place for the axis of resistance and the anti-Israeli movement to unite, collaborate, and grow against right at the borders of Israel, with basically seconds away, when it comes to missiles, away from Tel Aviv, to be able to create an internationally protected military force against Israel right at the borders of Israel. That's one reason I'm against the state of Palestine, and also a second reason is that the two-state solution has already been offered to the so-called Palestinians multiple times, and they rejected it multiple times because they're interested mostly in annihilating Israel, not in having a state. So why would you keep trying to do something that has failed multiple times? That's insanity. That's the definition of insanity according to Einstein. When you try something so many times and it fails, if you continue to try it, you are insane. So why would we try something that, yeah. Somebody, Amelia is saying Tucker didn't say it, you did. So stop it, please. Amelia, you make no sense at all. Francis is saying Palestinians are fine, Hamas is terrible, Israel is fine, Netanyahu's coalition is terrible. Just an opinion. Well, I'm glad that you said it was just an opinion because I thought it was something else. Like, I don't know what how much work is just an opinion is doing there, because what else is it? Like, as opposed, it's just an opinion as opposed to what? So Palestinians are fine. If by Palestinians, you need to don't refer to them as Palestinians, because Palestinians the name Palestinian is now a name of a terrorist movement. Call them the people of Gaza and the people of West Bank. There is no Palestinian other than an anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish movement. That's what Palestine is the name of a terrorist movement. And it's not a name of a people. It's the name of a terrorist movement. And also, when you say they are fine, well, a lot of them are not fine. Some of them are fine, but a lot of them are, anti-Semitism, and extreme Islamic ideas are, rampant in Gaza. So I don't know what you're talking about. Have you seen the stats? The vast majority of the people in Gaza and the West Bank would be okay with beheading me because I'm an ex-Muslim. So I don't know why you're saying they're fine. I would be okay with you saying some of them are fine, but not all of them. And also, Netanyahu's coalition is terrible. Honestly, I have some criticism for Netanyahu before October 7th, but ever since October 7th, he has been 10 out of 10, Netanyahu. Almost every criticism that I have for Netanyahu is about some of the things he did before October 7th. But everything he has done after, I cannot complain, man. I mean, just look at the results. All the enemies of Israel have been decapitated. Almost all of them. There's only one left. But how could you complain? That's fantastic. He has been amazing. You guys agree that Netanyahu has been fucking fantastic ever since October 7th? Like, guys, Israelis, you should not complain much about Netanyahu. Look at what he has done to your enemies. Like, did you imagine the things that has happened to Hamas, to to Hezbollah, to the Houthis now, to Kataeb, Shabi, to the Islamic Republic, to the IRGC? Did you even imagine all of this happening so fast in your wildest dreams? That is all Netanyahu. You should be grateful. Like, I don't know what you guys like. Some Israelis are constantly complaining about Netanyahu. Like, what the hell? What do you guys? What else? Nobody could have delivered anything better than this. I mean, maybe they could, but I mean, this is pretty good. And yeah, that's a weird comparison. Putting Hamas next to, I mean, even if you don't agree with Netanyahu, putting that next to Hamas, that's a fucking insanity. Delta just gave us a super chat saying we should name new Jewish, what is that? Oh, West Bank settlements after Starmer, Sanchez, Carney, etc., and Israel should apply full sovereignty over all Jewish holy sites. Yes, that's a good idea. Yes, name it after them. Yeah, and again, more settlements, please. More West Bank settlements, so that we could crush the idea of a Palestinian nation state. More settlements in the West Bank. Just make sure that you make it impossible. Make it impossible. I mean, you already have made it impossible, but more settlements would be nice. Somebody saying Allah supports Israel. Okay. That's a weird thing to read here in the chat. Even Allah supports Israel. Explain that. Explain that. I don't know how somebody comes to that conclusion. Somebody saying, "Hey Armin, Palestine's flag is far more legitimate than that flag behind you." Well, define legitimate, because the vast majority of the Iranian people support this flag, not the bullshit Islamic flag of the Islamic Republic. So I think legitimacy comes from the people. Unless you don't believe in that, then fuck you. But given that Iranian people want this flag, not the Islamic Republic flag, I think that's all the legitimacy that we need. And the Palestinian flag, yeah, it's a legitimate flag of a terrorist movement. I'm not going to dispute what you're saying. The Palestinian flag is a legitimate flag that stands for a terrorist movement. I'm not going to disagree with that. Just guys, you see how I shit on these people, these haters? They come here, they think that they could get on my nerve, and I say something. I'm really good at fucking destroying these motherfuckers. Yeah. Somebody saying Trump agrees with Armin about forgiveness. Yeah, because Trump came at said to Erika Kirk that I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I'm sorry. He said he apologized to Erika Kirk saying like I cannot forgive the shooter, Charlie's shooter. So yeah, I think me and Trump we agree on that. That guy cannot be forgiven. Okay. Any more questions? We're good. All right. So I got an explanation for why Allah supports Israel. The explanation is Allah doesn't answer the prayers of Muslims and Palestinians. Israel is victorious, so even Allah helps Israel. No, okay, but what you're missing here is that Allah is a motherfucker who wants to torture the people to test them. So the Muslims will say that no, Allah is just fucking us so that we could get better. He's testing our faith. So that's what Allah does. Allah basically tries to torture you and hurt your kids and give you the most miserable. This is why Muslims will always claim like many Muslims will always claim victorious, because if they're winning, you're like, oh my God, we're winning. Allah is our side. And if they get humiliated and destroyed, they're like, oh my God, we're the victim. So Allah must be on our side. So it's just like they're always winning in their own mind. So Stella saying, sounds like a Zionist. I am a Zionist, a proud Zionist. Very proud of being a Zionist. I know it pisses you off, but that's actually an added benefit. Jewish Samantha saying, how can I convince you to support a two-state solution? By giving me logical arguments and evidence for why that would be beneficial. That's how. For both sides. My solution, the Armin solution, is the best solution for both sides. And I already made a stream on it. All right. Yeah, somebody's saying Jewish Samantha. It's called Jordan. So yeah, if you want a Palestinian state, it's called Jordan. Exactly. That's a good one. Yes, free Palestine from Islam, from Hamas, from the name Palestine. Guys, we're anti-imperial. We're the proper anti-imperialist here. Palestine is an imperialist. It's a Roman imperialist name. You guys know, like, I need to say this every time. You guys know how fucking stupid you guys are that you want to call that place Palestine. You know, you guys are being anti-Arabic, right? The name Palestine is an imperial name by the Roman Empire, and it's so foreign to the Arabic language that the Arabs cannot even pronounce it. They don't even have the letters for the p sound. That's why they call it the Palestine name from the Roman Empire. They had to change it to Palestine because they don't have the p sound in the Arabic language. That's how insane you guys are. Like, oh, we're being anti-imperialist. Israel is the native name of the land there. Palestine comes from the West. You fucking morons. You fucking idiots. I mean, if I know you guys don't read books, at least open the fucking Quran. At least open the fucking Quran. Look at how many times it mentions Israel. And then go look how many times it mentions Palestine. How many times the Quran mentions Palestine? You fucking idiots. Yeah, they call it Philistine because they cannot say P. That's how foreign the name is to the land, that the local people there cannot even write it down. You know, in Iran, they tell us to remember the thing because the Persian language has 4 sounds that the Arabic language doesn't have. And in Iran, even though our language is not Arabic, it's Persian, we're forced to learn Arabic because it's the language of God, right? And we are told as children, we're told to remember which sounds the Arabic language doesn't have, which we have, They say it's gachpaj. Gachpaj is a short for the 4 sounds that we have in the Persian language and you don't have in Arabic. So g, like the G sound, ch, like the ch sound. There's no sound. Arabic doesn't have that. P, which is the P sound, which is why they cannot say why they don't have a word for Palestine in Arabic. They have Palestine, and then something j, which is something that you don't have in English either, but you have in Persian. You don't have it in Arabic, you don't have it in English, but we have j. My mom's name, for example, was Gila. So in English, you have to write it as Gila because there is no sound for j in English or Arabic. So Gachpaj is the short way for us elementary school students to remember what sounds are not in Arabic. So every time, so there are many Arabic words that have infiltrated into the, that have, come into the Persian language. And every time a word has one of these sounds, we know that this is a true Persian word because obviously it cannot be Arabic in origin. No, Arabic does have the V, wa, or it's W. No, but I think walazalin. Va. Is it W or V? I don't know. Sure. Anyways, that's long enough. The Japanese call. No, I do. I think they have V. I think the Vav sound in Arabic could sometimes sound like W and sometimes sound like V. Or is that in Persian? I know the Vav letter in Arabic, when we use it in Persian, could have 2 different sounds. But in Arabic, does it only have the W sound? I don't know. I have to look this up. Only W? Really? They don't have a V? They only have a W sound? Okay, I didn't know that. Yes, basically walaz. Yeah, this is why we Persians, when we're reading the Quran, every time when we're reading the Fatiha, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this is the Fatiha surah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim, ghayril maghdubi wal. Okay, so we usually make a mistake and we say velazolin because, and then our teacher basically takes a mark off and says it's not velaz. Oh, it's not velazolin. It's walazolin. Okay, so Arabic is kind of weird. So they speak, so they speak from it here instead of here, and also they have 4 z sounds. Okay, they have 4 z sounds. So in Persian we just say zalin, and our Arabic teacher, when we're reading a chapter from the Quran, they're like, that's not how you say it. That's not the proper z sound in Arabic. And like, which one is it? It's not z, it's the. Or so there's 4 different z sounds in Arabic, for fuck's sakes. How do you okay, I don't know. Right. I don't know. Arabic is hard because they have multiple different S sounds, they have multiple different Z sounds. I mean, just make them all sound like the proper Z sound. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, it was really difficult. This last part of the Fatiha surah from the chapter of the Quran, it's the most easiest part for Persian students to lose a mark because because you're gonna pronounce it wrong every fucking time. Anyways, so guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for the super chats. I can't believe I actually managed to get our goal for today. You guys are awesome. And yeah, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you recommend our channel to your friends and your enemies. And that's about it. So, I'm Israel Chai. Javid Shah. Mwah. See you guys on the next stream.